Halo semuanya, selamat datang kembali di channel ini. Dan kita akan melanjutkan kembali ya story dari gameplay Genshin Impact, Genshin Gaming. Dimana di recap video gameplay sebelumnya kita sudah keluar dari pelabuhan Ritou, dan sekarang kita menuju ke kediaman rumah teh atau apa nih? Ya pokoknya itulah. Oke, kita sambil jalan-jalan dulu, dan kita akan bertemu dengan klan ini ya, klan kami satu mungkin ya. Oke, wah ini agak lama, ini panjang juga. Wih, apa ini? Nggak tahu juga. Selenya kah? Oke, lari aja. Oke. Oke. Wih. Lari aja. Oke, dan aku memakai terkuatku ya, apa? Tim terkuatku pokoknya. Ini ada official Jin sama Xiangling. Nyalain ini dulu biar dekat. Oke. Dan ada suatu ini. Oh, ini apa? Panorama foto. Alright. Pinggiran kota Inazuma. Oh, itu tadi pelabuhan dan kita akan menuju ke kotanya ya. Bentar. Oh iya, ini kotanya Inazuma. Berarti Raiden Shogun di sini ya? Kukira di sini. Salah persepsi. Oke. Lanjutkan saja. Dimanakah engkau, wahai main quest? Archon questnya di mana ini? Wah, naik ke atas pak. Oke, nggak apa-apa, sambil jalan-jalan lihat panoramanya. Sejuk banget. Beneran lewat sini kah? Oh ini loh. Apa itu? Oh, senjata. Oke. Oh, dan aku MC ku ini aku ganti ya, soalnya MC ku yang untuk kekuatan elektro itu masih talentnya masih level 1, belum aku tingkatkan, jadi belum kuat kalau melawan di sini. Ya ampun, keren banget loh sakuranya loh. Keren pak. Panoramanya. Oh sini, ini dia.
According to the letter, this should be the place.
Sorry, we don't serve the general public. I'm afraid you'll have to leave.
Wait, we're not the general public.
Well then, you must be a couple of wandering outlanders that snuck into the nation, judging by your attire.
Are our clothes really so... what Paimon means to say is...
ini surat undangannya Paimon.
The Yashiro Commission's seal. This must be from Mr. Thoma. It seems there's more to you than meets the eye. In which case, welcome to the Komore Tea House.
Gitu dong, udah ada undangannya.
Well, that sounds more like it.
Udah ngomong duluan. Oke, masuk. Alright, apa yang kita temukan di sini? Tapi keren panoramanya Inazuma. Berasa seperti di Jepang. Sakuranya kayak gitu. Daun-daun sakura. Mekaran.
Now that we're here, where's Thoma?
Nggak tahu.
Paimon doesn't see him anywhere. Do you think he forgot his promise to meet us?
Ada anjing penjaganya loh.
Who forgot their promise? I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about me.
Loh, bisa bicara?
Is that dog talking to us?
Anjing ngomong.
Relax, no need to look so surprised. I take it this is the first time you've seen me in this form?
Kemana Thoma yang manusia?
So you didn't see anything like this when you were in Liyue Harbor?
Now that you mention it, this does suddenly seem less out of the ordinary.
Memang aslinya anjing. Memang asli.
All right, I've had my fun.
You're
Ada nih
this close to
penjaganya
getting an
dikira
ugly
Thoma.
nickname, mister.
Well, I've had some time to kill, given that I've been waiting here for you for so I came up with this little fun greeting for when you arrived.
Alright.
But in all seriousness, I would like to apologize about that little test you went through earlier, though it was quite necessary. It helped us determine whether or not to bring you before Miss Kamisato, and whether you had the courage to face
Oh,
the
ini
lightning alongside us.
ada Peter bersama kami. Oh, waduh
Think
kata-katanya.
that Paimon's gonna forgive you just because you're getting all serious now.
Sorry, did I overdo it? My apologies.
Keberanian untuk menghadapi
Let me
petir.
just say this. You've often found yourself skirting the rules from the very beginning, haven't you? Naturally, this is due to your unwavering and resolute determination. A long time ago, we had a friend who was much the same. But when the lightning struck...
Oh, ini maksudnya teman Kazuha.
Ah, so you've heard of his story. His light still burns all the more brightly.
Oh, jadi ini termasuk kelompoknya Kazuha berarti. Yang kemarin menyerang dan ternyata gagal. Dan temannya gugur dan visionnya kan hilang kan, dibawa oleh Kazuha kan.
Yes, of course. I will bring you to the Kamisato residence where the Yashiro Commission is located. But before that, there is one other place I was hoping you both would accompany me to.
Kemana?
Where?
I would like you to come with me to the statue of the omnipresent god. It's still under
Patung
construction now,
omnipresent god.
but you can already see it from practically anywhere on Narukami Island.
Oh, kita sekarang ke patung. Oke. Oh, Tarumaru. Gup. Kamu ngerti perkataanku? Gup. Kain gup. Oke. Ada apa lagi sini? Ada chest boy. Apa ini Onika Buto? Wah, ada chest juga loh. Ini apa lagi ini? Bentar, cek dulu. Oh, ada buku kisah ini. Oke, dapat buku. Oke. Nah, suka bercerita sih si kakek ini. Apalagi nggak ada apa-apa. Oke, lanjut. Keluar. Lucu juga ya Thoma ini. Oke, masih loading. Lama juga, tolong. Alright, mana lagi sekarang? Aduh, sorry ya, rada ngelag. Kalian lihat sendiri pingku lah. Kalau hijau lebih bahaya daripada kuning atau merah ya. Kalau di sinyal di tempatku sih ngelag biasanya kalau hijau ke kuning itu. Oke, mana lagi nih? Apalagi nih? Periksa. Oh, artefak. Oh, kota Inazuma ini. Di sana Raiden Shogun. Oh, wow. Tempatnya lah kayak ini kayak benteng atau kastil ya di zaman dulu ya. Kalau di Jepang ya. Wis pengetahuanku sih. Lihat ada ikannya di samping kiri kanan. Di atas atapnya. Mirip ikan. Oh, ini patung omnipresent god. Sabar, quest lainnya itu lain nanti aja.
This area sure
Gue
feels
selesaikan
gloomy.
sendiri.
People probably don't come here often. Are Paimon's eyes playing tricks? Or are there things embedded in the statue?
Visions.
Vision. Oh, vision.
Visions? You mean all the visions that are collected from the Vision Hunt degree are put into the statue?
Ini vision hijau, biru, sama kuning itu.
So you've already heard of the Vision Hunt Decree.
Dekret perburuan vision kan. Kenapa suka merintahkan Tita dekret perburuan
Before I
vision?
try to explain, I should perhaps remind you first that Mondstadt is the city of freedom,
Ya,
and Lea is the city of
kota kontrak.
contracts.
Ya.
As for Inazuma, it's known as the Nation of Eternity.
Oh, Nation of Eternity. Bangsa keabadian.
The Raiden Shogun is both the nation's most powerful ruler and its deity. The eternity in question is her endless and unchanging will to rule over Inazuma.
Oh, tidak akan
As
berubah.
such, she relies on the Tri-Commission to regulate the nation's affairs and the Sakoku Decree to limit the people's movement. The Shogun wishes to keep Inazuma in stasis, allowing the stream of time to flow from one end to the other without disturbing it for all time.
Oh,
Seems like every
paham.
god has their own will.
Of course, this is my own limited understanding. As for the reason behind the recent Vision Hunt Decree, perhaps the Shogun believes that visions grant people the power to change, and that her eternity doesn't allow for such instability to exist. Whatever the case, the fact is that the Raiden Shogun has dispatched the Tenryou Commission to scour the nation for visions, embedding each one in this statue.
Oh,
And this statue of the omnipresent god can be seen as Inazuma's symbol of eternity.
But if that's the case, wouldn't you say that the Raiden Shogun is being, I don't know,
because
selfish?
selfish.
Only outlanders such as yourselves would ever dare speak out so directly against the Raiden Shogun. And yet, I agree. The Vision Hunt Decree is something that simply should not exist. And Miss Kamisato has been committed to fighting it since the day it was announced.
Oh, oke. Loh.
Huh? Hey, are you okay? You look like your mind is elsewhere.
Sound? What sound?
Oh,
I
dia
didn't hear
dengar
anything.
suara suatu.
Did something happen?
Yeah, you touched the statue, and then what?
Aspirasi orang-orang.
Aspirations? That would seem to confirm the same. Have you heard it before? That when a person's ambition reaches a certain strength, the gods look upon them with favor. That is where visions come from. In other words, a person's vision represents their ambition. So if what you just said is true, then the ambitions of these people are stronger than I imagined.
Oke, jadi vision melambangkan ambisi, bukan kekuatan.
Alright, time for the next stop on our tour of Narukami Island, the Kamisato resident.
Alright,
Finally!
oke. Inspirasi semua orang. Oh, jadi aku di sini ingin menjelaskan sedikit ya tentang ini. Ternyata disebut Nation of Eternity atau bangsa keabadian ini melambangkan ini tidak boleh berubah. Tradisi kayak tradisi di Inazuma ini tidak boleh berubah karena katanya si Vision itu katanya bisa memiliki kekuatan untuk membuat perubahan pada suatu di negaranya ya. Kayak Raiden Shogun itu berpikirnya seperti itu. Jadi Raiden Shogun itu melakukan perburuan vision supaya tidak berubah di kotanya inilah, tradisinya lah mungkin ya, kayak gitulah, sehingga katanya keabadian di kota ini tetap terjaga kayak gitu ya. Itu yang penangkapanku sih. Oke, kemana lagi sekarang? Mempertahankan tradisi ya, seperti ya kayak, waduh panjang juga. Oke, ini aku skip saja sampai di lambang sini ya. Oke, kita sudah mengaktifkan ini. Oke, kita lanjutkan kembali ke perjalanan ya. Berarti lumayan panjang, skip saja lah sampai sini. Oke, kita sudah mencapai sini. Kita akan menyalakan teleport waypoint dan ada titik panorama juga. Alright. Oh wow, hutan suci dalam cahaya rembulan, keren pak. Lihat bunganya ini, bercahaya loh di malam hari, keren. Oke, Oke, kita sudah mencapai sini dan tujuan kita adalah ke sini. Oke, skip lagi. Oke, kita sudah mencapai sini. Di depan sudah ada kediaman si kami satu ya, Sayaka, klan kami satu, kayak gitu. Oke, kita lanjut. Oke, sebelumnya kita menyalakan dulu teleport waypointnya. Oke, kita sudah berada di kediaman kami satu. Oke, lanjut. Sini ya? Bukan. Oh, itu. Oke. Masuk. Oke. Duh, bertemu dengan Ayaka. Oke, keren banget pemandangannya, Pak. Suasananya juga. Oke.
So, this is the kind of place where the big shots of Inazuma live, huh? Paimon kinda expected it to be snazzier.
Susah kalau mau mandang jet chamber sih.
Welcome at last to the Kamisato residence, honored guests. Miss Kamisato is delighted to finally meet you.
Oke.
Is this the Shirasage Himegimi you keep going on about? So, where's she at?
Kami satu Ayaka kan?
Behind the screen?
Yes. As the daughter of the Yashiro Commission, this is how Miss Kamisato is accustomed to receiving guests.
Oh,
Consider it a time-honored tradition within the Yashiro Commission. Forgive me if this is an unwelcome surprise.
ini agak antiklimaks sih.
Makes sense. She's a super important person after all.
Oke.
Please forgive my lack of courtesy for receiving you in this fashion, especially following such a long and wearisome journey over the sea. I have awaited your arrival with great anticipation, and Thoma assures me that you do indeed possess the power to change the tide of the times. At present in Inazuma, in the name of the Vision Hunt Decree, the people's aspirations are being senselessly trampled underfoot.
Iya sih, benar sih. Karena
Though the
perburuan
Yashiro
dekret
Commission
perburuan
serves
itu.
the Shogun, it is the people with whom we share close bonds, given the contact we are required to have with them in the performance of our duties. A commission's power rises and falls with the trust of their people. Thus, we cannot remain indifferent to this situation without also remaining indifferent to our own fate. Traveler, lend us your power, and we can...
Aku hanya di sini untuk menemui Raiden Shogun.
Oh,
See, milady, it's just like I said. This will take us nowhere.
Aku akan pergi sekarang.
no, please! Wait! Please, don't go! I will introduce you to the Raiden Shogun on one condition. You must fulfill 3 small wishes on my behalf.
Your
Okay.
wishes.
They pertain to 3 whose visions were taken from them. Perhaps once you've met them, you will understand.
Kamu dengar kami satu Ayaka menceritakan kisah 3 orang kehilangan visionnya.
Who guards a village, a former samurai who helped carry out the Vision Hunt Decree, and a swordmaster determined to become the best in the world.
Benar.
Does Paimon got that right?
Seorang prajurit yang menjaga sebuah desa, 1. Seorang mantan samurai yang menjalankan dekret perburuan vision, dan seorang pendekar pedang yang bertekad untuk menjadi yang terbaik di dunia.
Correct.
3.
Please do all you can to help them. I will await your return here.
Oke.
Then you have my gratitude.
Alright.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Berjuanglah anak muda. Oke, putri di balik tirai. Oke, lihat dulu. Adakah? Wih, kok nggak ada? Hilang. Saya hilang. Oke. Jadi kita harus bantu 3 orang ya. Tadi lupa. Pokoknya penjaga desa, samurai, mantan samurai yang melakukan perbuatan dekret, sama satunya samurai yang bertekad menjadi samurai terbaik di dunia, pendekar terbaik di dunia. Alright. Ini adalah kediaman kami satu. Ada gadis kuil. Ini pakaiannya kalau tradisi Jepang ya. Kalau di anime-anime kayak gitu. Lihat. Miko. Gadis kuil. Oke. Pertama kita kemana? Oke, ke kepala desa sini berarti ya. Oke. Untung sudah ikut buka waypointnya. Tinggal teleport. Ini dia. Berarti ini yang harus kubantu. Yang pertama, bro.
Let's see. Where's the person Ayaka told us about?
Why are you doing this? Why leave all of a sudden? After all,
Precisely. It's much too sudden. We've had no time to prepare. The children are desperate for you to take them out to play. Please, we urge
Keluar
you
untuk
to
bermain.
reconsider.
That must be the guy Ayaka told us about. Let's go over and see.
Oke. Dia di sana loh. Ini bukan. Oh, bukan. Oh, ini loh. Kukira itu. Sama bajunya.
you must also be here to try and convince Terima to stay.
Apa yang terjadi?
Terima has protected this place ever since he arrived
Oh.
here 30 years ago.
Sudah 30 tahun menjadi penjaga desa berarti di desa sini. Siapa? Terima.
Keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off any monsters that draw near, resolving quarrels between the villagers. He has put an enormous amount of work into but now, all of a sudden, he says he plans to leave us. We can't help but wonder. We will gladly apologize if that's the case. All we want is for him to stay.
Oh, tiba-tiba dia ingin pergi dari kota ini. Oke, tanya si kakek.
If you want my opinion, something to do with
Si kakek tertutup Paimon.
decree.
Oh,
clear that Terima had
gara-gara ada
done nothing
perburuan
wrong,
vision ini kan.
and still they confiscated his vision. After that, he became a completely different person. I can't claim to fully understand it, but I could tell that he'd lost something very important to him. He went off on a walk, alone, circled the village a few times, and then out of the blue, he announced that he was going to leave and become a wanderer.
Oh,
Truth be told, we aren't sure whether trying to keep him here is the right thing to do. But equally, it doesn't feel right to let him leave when he's in this state. He's a lost soul.
Seems like he's a well-respected guy around here.
ya terus? Cara dengan dia lah.
I'll be as great as Ryuji. You must be Terima. So what's made you want to up and leave all of a sudden?
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave, but a question of what reason I would have to stay.
Semua orang bergantung padamu.
True, but that's not why I chose to stay here. And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? And why have I never wanted to leave in all that time? I don't have answers to those questions because I can't remember anymore.
Oh,
Ever since they took my vision away, it's like
dia
a
sebelumnya
slice of my memory is gone.
punya vision terus kemudian diambil visionnya. Semua ingatanku
In
hilang.
the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But whatever resolve I had then, it's gone now. So I thought, what's to stop me from moving around instead? The emptiness inside me will be there either way.
Oh,
Okay. Well, in that case, if we help you rediscover the reason you chose to stay, you won't need to leave anymore, right? But if you can't remember anything, it's not gonna be easy. Oh,
oke.
maybe if you just try a little harder to remember, then it'll all come flooding back.
Oh, that reminds me. Last time I brought Tejima some fruit, I do believe I saw him writing in a diary.
Oh, ya buku harian.
I keep a diary? If you say so. I honestly can't seem to remember.
Oh, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you saying at the time that you wanted to make a note of a few interesting things. Things which would prove very important at a later date.
Perfect! So
Okay.
if we want to keep Tejima from leaving, we just need to find his diary.
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find the diary. We should head back to the village to inform the others of Tejima's situation.
Alright. Oke, jadi kita harus mencari buku hariannya. Di mana? Masuk. Oh, ini ada jurnal.
This looks like Tejima's diary, all right.
Oke.
Let's see what we have here. Today, the villagers and I got together to cook dry braised salted fish. I messed up and burned mine a little, so I had to pretend that it was black snakehead instead. Today, I helped rescue a kid who had fallen in the water. After I pulled him out,
Diarinya ini ya.
that his best friend Bamboo was still in the water. I went kite flying today. The string broke, so I chased after it as fast as I could. I soon realized I was never going to
Ini
get
layangan
back,
ikan.
so I just found
Keren.
somewhere to sit and watch as it flew away
Nggak
into
fokus.
the distance.
Ya pokoknya itu
Seems like
catatan
an
hariannya
average
lah
diary
dari
of daily
Tejima.
village life.
Kehidupan sehari-harinya lah.
Wait, there's more! I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. The omamori you gave me has faded a little, but it is still my most treasured possession. Now that's the kind of info we're looking for. Time to pay a visit to the shrine.
Oke, kita harus pergi ke shrine. Kuil. Ya ini juga kayak tradisi di Jepang sih, tempat berdoanya orang Jepang ya kalau di kuil, di shrine ini. Oh ini yang kecil, kuil kecil.
So this is the omamori Tejima wrote about. Interesting.
Oh ini
Looking at
jimat,
the color
jimat.
and the design, Paimon would have thought it belonged to a child. But anyway, if he had this with him all the time, there's a chance some of his elemental energy remained on it. Do you think that it might come in handy?
Oke. Apa ini? Elemental psych, aduh. Ini. Terus mana lagi? Alright. Ke atas ini kah? Mana? Melewati sini paling. Oh ini nih, ini paling ya. Coba cek lagi. Oh ya ini.
Here we are. This seems to be somewhere that Tejima visited a lot. The
Okay.
soil looks like it's been disturbed. Maybe Tejima buried something precious here. Must be something pretty amazing if it made him stick around for 30 years. Let's dig it up and take a...
Oke, dikali. Berapa ini?
It looks like a
Surat.
letter. The paper's gone yellow. Must have been written a really long time ago.
Apa ini? Jika kita terpisah dalam perang ini, tunggu aku di desa Konda.
Where is that place again?
Akan ada di rumah yang aman untuk kita. Oh,
So the reason Tejima came here was to wait for someone.
dia menunggu seseorang
But
berarti.
he's been here for 30 years. Oh, guess they didn't show up in the end, huh? Well, let's go give Tejima his stuff back and take it from there.
Oke, jadi di Terima ini menunggu seseorang selama 30 tahun, Pak, di desa ini. Mana? Oh, ini dia.
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. And I guess the Omamorian letter belonged to me too. But I have no memory of anything that's written in this diary. Still, it's clear that I was waiting for someone here, and that I chose to wait for 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. Anything that I could share with her when
dia
we
sudah
were
mulai
finally
mengingat berarti.
reunited.
Kenapa dia alasannya tinggal di
And just
desa ini?
look at all the things that did happen over the years. The time has flown by so quickly. 30 years feels like the blink of an eye. How could I have forgotten something so
Rada
important
ngeblank
to
aku,
me?
sorry ya.
Now that I think about it, when my vision was taken from me, it felt like I'd suddenly been hollowed out. Love, regret, everything I felt for her, it's all disappeared.
Apa itu akan membuat merasa sedih?
Not especially. After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face, her voice, the things we
Oh,
experienced
cewek,
together.
katanya heran.
I
Dia
barely
menunggu
recall
seorang
any of it.
gadis di sini selama 30
It's as
tahun,
if
Pak,
she'd never been in my life to begin with.
dan belum
As
kembali
if
juga di sini.
all these years have been nothing but a hazy dream. I think maybe not. If this is something I waited most of
Begini
my
selama
life
hidupku.
for, I suppose I should carry on waiting.
Wah, terus menunggu katanya.
Although, what if she were to turn up eventually?
Dia akhirnya datang
Only
dan
to
ternyata aku
find I
bahkan
didn't
tidak ingat
remember
nama
so
sama
much
sekali.
as her name. Wouldn't that be upsetting for her?
Itu sedih banget
When I
ceritanya,
think
Pak.
about it like that, I do feel a slight tinge of sadness in my heart. How curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember who she is? It's just like that feeling of emptiness. Thank you both for helping me reconnect with my reason for staying here. I shall remain here and
Tejima seems
Dia
to be
akhirnya
dealing
terus menunggu di sini, jadi tidak akan pergi si
but
Tejima.
still, it makes Paimon really
Iya.
sad.
Kehilangan sebuah alasan untuk bersedih mungkin adalah hal yang paling
Seems
menyedihkan.
it's just like Ayaka and Thoma were saying. If you lose your vision, you lose all your hopes and dreams too.
Iya, semua
That certainly
mimpinya hilang.
explains the state Tejima was in earlier. At least we were able to help him. We're... well, let's go find the next.
Oke, jangan bantu selanjutnya berarti.
According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the
Samurai
Tenryou Commission.
Tenryou Commission. Oke. Wah, jadi kisahnya menyedihkan ya. Jadi setelah kehilangan visionnya itu seolah-olah dia tidak mengingat apapun ya. Merasa suatu kekosongan ya, si Tejima. Ternyata di sini dia menunggu seseorang lah. Seseorang selama 30 tahun ya. Dan tidak kunjung kembali, dan akhirnya dia tetap akan menunggunya selama hidupnya ya. Sedih sekali sih. Oke, lanjut. Teleport dan Rio Commission. Oke, bentar. Tunggu sebentar ya. Oke, kembali lagi. Oke, kita lanjutkan kembali. Ini dia. Sudah malam hari.
They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order in Inazuma, the ones actually enforcing the Vision Hunt decree. But why would they take action against one of their own? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
Oke.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand an explanation. How many times do I have to say it? I don't know
Kurosawa
anything about
Kyonosuke.
emergency provisions.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand? Not some...
You samurai
Aduh,
think you can
cepetan.
just do whatever you please?
Sorry.
The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Perbekalan darurat.
Oh, huh? And who are you? One of Kurosawa's gang, no doubt.
What? We just happened to be passing by. We heard the commotion and came to see what the matter was.
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps you can help us settle this matter. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for distribution.
Hmm.
In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he suddenly refuses to give us anything. He's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it. We'll starve without them.
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true colors. He's the same as all the other samurai. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But why would she ever want us to help someone like him?
Oke.
Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa and see what he has to say.
Oke, kita bicara dulu dengan Kurosawa ini. Oke, dan berarti orang berikutnya adalah Kurosawa. Katanya dia selalu memberikan perbekalan kepada si sama Yuya sama Omori ya, untuk perbekalan di desanya, untuk perbekalan darurat. Tapi sekarang dia sudah tidak bisa mengirimkan lagi karena ada sesuatu mungkin ya, nggak tahu lagi lah. Oke, kita tanya lagi.
I've never even heard of these emergency provisions.
Oh,
I don't know
dia
whether
tidak
it's
berdengar.
rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. If I was hoarding supplies, would I still be the poor man I am today? My own family can barely get by as it is. No, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters to attend to.
Kami dengar kamu akhir-akhir ini kehilangan vision milikmu.
And that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work.
Ya, lupa berarti, lupa ingatan berarti.
I'd even disappointed the Raiden Shogun. And that's why they confiscated my vision.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce
Kan
the
kamu
vision
membantu
of the
dekret
queen.
perburuan
Why
vision.
would you be unworthy of your vision?
To be perfectly honest, I don't seem to remember the details. All I know is that I would perform certain things every month. But I don't recall what they were.
Oh, lupa deh.
It's
Setelah
not just
kehilangan
that.
visionnya berarti.
I have this unsettling feeling, like someone owes me something.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency provisions?
Oke.
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself, I wouldn't be going through such hard times right now. To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders, which is why I came here in the first place. I was chasing after them when I got held up by these two. If you
Oh,
don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders yourself. If there were any emergency provisions to be had, they would have found them.
Huh. He seems to be telling the truth, but we better confirm. Let's go round up those treasure hoarders and see what they... We should be able to follow their tracks. They could...
oke. Jadi kita harus mencari treasure hoarder karena rumahnya si Kurosawa ini terjarah katanya, termalingi. Oke. Kita mencari treasure hoarder dan dia sepertinya kehilangan ingatan ya, kayak tugas-tugasnya itu. Malamnya kayak gini loh, Pak. Mana sih? Biasanya di daerah tengah. Oh, ini dia.
We really outdid
outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods. We really hit the jackpot. I mean, besides that one house.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more where this came from. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey of pillage and plunder that will go down in hoarder history. You demand, boss!
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after.
Sorry.
Teach them a lesson.
Lagi gak enak badan ya. Oke. Masih aman. Kam. Selesai kan?
There goes all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know? Come on, boss. Think of something.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use someone like you. Kurosawa. Oh, I remember. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just our luck. I knew he shouldn't have hit that place.
So what did you see inside? Was it stuffed with food supplies?
Food supplies? You kidding? That place was a complete mess. All we found was a strange-looking box, hopefully with valuables inside.
Elemental partikelnya itu loh, kelihatan warna-warni. Aduh, menghilang.
I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it myself once we got back. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal? That little box for our freedom. What do you say?
You've got a deal. Now show us what's in the box.
Huh?
What the?
Ini kan
There's nothing in here but IOUs!
surat utang.
Yeah, a lot of them too. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store, a Miss Aoi.
Aoi.
We're talking tons of Mora here. We better talk to this Miss Aoi and get to the bottom of this. As for you guys, you're free to go. Just pray that our paths don't cross again.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that mean we broke even?
Shut it. Let's just get out of here.
Oke, jadi dia di treasure hoarder ini mengambil suatu kotak ya di rumahnya Kurosawa. Ternyata kotak itu isinya utang semua dengan atas nama Nona Aoi. Oke, kita akan mencari permasalahannya. Oke, agak panjang ya, aku skip aja deh. Oke, kita sudah sampai sini, dekat sekali. Teleport aja ya, nggak apa-apa lah. Oh, ini dia Aoi, pemilik toko kelontong.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got everything you need. Can I help you find, or perhaps there's something you want to inquire about?
Tentang surat ini.
So you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it? Perhaps you're here to pay off his debts.
Bayar utang.
Whoa, let's not get
Jangan asumsi dulu dong.
We're just here to learn where they all came from. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money? Did he buy anything super expensive here?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. He'd always put the payment on his own account.
Oh, uangnya sendiri, bayar dengan uangnya sendiri. Aduh, cari.
However,
Makin
the
jelimet
price of
kabelnya.
provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So,
Okay.
he started writing out IOUs to cover whatever he couldn't afford of the usual amount.
So
Oke.
that's how he was getting those emergency provisions.
Oh, dia beli sendiri perbekalan
Purchase a
darurat
usual
itu
amount.
katanya itu.
If the prices increased, couldn't he just buy less?
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they needed to sustain them each time. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough, especially after such long and careful planning. So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than let the people down.
Oh, jadi dia beli sendiri.
Kurosawa was purchasing all the emergency provisions
dengan
at its
uangnya
own
sendiri.
expense.
Lah ya,
No one ever
tidak ada yang
appreciated what
menghargai
he
apa yang
did.
dia lakukan.
They just
Aduh,
complained
sedih
and held him
banget.
accountable.
People's
bertanggung
attitudes
jawaban.
will always reflect their circumstances. In the face of hardship, nobody
Tidak ada
cares to
orang
think
yang bisa
twice.
berpikir jernih.
If you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from the start, then there wouldn't be such a severe backlash now. Of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. What he was doing was truly a thankless deed.
Hal-hal yang tanpa pamrih.
As
Wah,
for
mulia
why he
sekali
chose
si
to spend
Kurosawa
his
ini.
own money on emergency provisions and never tell anyone, I'm still not too clear myself. If you're still curious, why don't you go ask him yourself?
Sayangnya dia
I
tidak ingat.
see. That reminds me, it seems that his vision was recently confiscated.
Ya, dia
Most
mengerti kan.
unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to sell that sword that is so dear to him.
Sword? What sword?
Apa pedang apanya?
Didn't he tell you? He possesses a very valuable blade. He's carried it for years now. I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift from his father, that it was too precious to sell. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Everything has its price, at least that's what I think. Why
Oh,
don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll even provide you with the answers you're looking for.
mungkin ya.
But before you go, if you would kindly settle today's bill.
Aduh,
But we didn't buy anything.
suruh bayar utangnya.
Information is also a kind of commodity. Don't worry, I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we ever
Dari
discussed was
pemurah.
explicitly confidential anyway. Oh, let me think. 2,000 mora should be a fair price.
Oke, gak apa-apa lah.
At least
Punya
we
uang.
now know where the emergency provisions are coming from. Let's go talk to Kurosawa again and see if he can remember anything.
Oke, mulia sekali ya. Si Kurosawa itu ternyata dia membelikan perbekalan untuk darurat, makan darurat itu dengan uangnya sendiri ya, katanya sih. Oke, skip lagi. Nggak usah sih, nggak usah skip lah. Oke, deket yuk. Alright.
What are you doing here all by yourself? Where?
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. They left. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Perhaps I should start using it more often. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders?
Ya, kita memberitahukan Kurosawa tentang treasure hoarder dan toko.
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I was? I don't
Iya.
really have any such recollection. Even after all you've told me, I still don't remember anything.
Waduh,
Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a difficult situation? I really don't understand. But I cannot deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow reluctant to do so.
pedangnya.
This sword was once wielded by my father. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. My father ended up catching me in the act and scolded me severely. What did he say? I can't seem to remember that. It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me.
Aduh, gara-gara visinya diambil lagi.
So many memories gone forever.
Sorry ya,
No matter how hard I try to
lagi nggak enak
remember,
badan nih.
all I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed before he passed, and
Aduh, kecepatan.
said to me, "With this sword, you should."
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words
Oh,
engraved
ada yang
on the
terukir
hilt.
di kata-katanya ini. kebajikan dan keadilan.
Virtue and justice? Somehow those two words seem to explain everything now. Taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition after all. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those in need. And look how things ended up. The Tenryo Commission seized my vision. And the very
Yang
people I
tolong malah
was so
tidak mau
desperately trying to
mengerti
help
kondisiku.
refused to understand me. And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt sorry when threatening them with my blade. I'm incapable of being a good person, yet I'm equally unable to be bad. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yet another trouble.
Orang-orang yang bermasalah.
When we get the chance, let's speak to Thoma about Kurosawa's debt. The Yashiro Commission would surely help cover his expenses.
Ide bagus.
In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword.
Kehilangan sebuah vision.
Seems like losing all ambition is a terrible experience. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision.
Untungnya kamu gak punya vision.
Let's go find the next poor soul.
Oke. Ini orang berikutnya. Kasihan sekali. Setelah si Kurosawa diambil visionnya, orang-orang malah berbalik kepadanya ya. Aduh, dia sudah memberi makanan tanpa pamrih dan menolong banyak orang. Aduh, sekarang dia dalam kondisi yang visionnya hilang, semuanya terlilit utang juga. Aduh, kasihan sekali lah. Oke, bentar. Oke, mungkin cukup sekian dulu untuk video kali ini ya. Jadi kita sudah bertemu dengan si Kamisato Ayaka di kediaman Kamisato, dan dia menyuruh kita menolong 3 orang, yaitu yang pertama adalah Terima, dimana orang tersebut kayak lupa ya. Dia yang tadi ya sedih banget ceritanya, dia menunggu selama 30 tahun untuk menemui seseorang di sebuah desa Konda itu, dan akhirnya dia tetap menunggu lah, dan akhirnya dia tetap tinggal. Dan si yang kedua adalah si Kurosawa itu ternyata dia itu memberikan perbekalan kepada orang-orang dengan uangnya sendiri ya, sehingga dia terlilit utang. Ketika dia kehilangan visionnya dan terlilit utang, malah yang ditolongnya, yang memberikan itu malah tidak mau mengerti kondisinya dia. Jadi kasihan sekali. Oke. Ya, untuk yang orang ketiga gimana kondisinya? Ya juga kurang tahu, kita lihat saja di next video gameplay. Terima kasih sudah menonton video kali ini. Mohon dukungannya dengan mengklik like, share, dan subscribe, dan komen di bawah jika kalian ada kritik ataupun saran. Terima kasih dan sampai jumpa. Bye bye.